have notes. Hi, I'm Michael Christensen. I used to unabashedly call myself a bicycle safety expert or a bicycling expert, but I kind of walked away from that a couple of years ago. But Sunday, I had a new experience. I got run over by a car. Well, my big toe got run over by a car. On your way here, if you drove, did you pick up your phone while you were driving here? Did you read a text? Did you read a notification? Did you change your Spotify playlist? I wouldn't admit it either if I did. But don't. As I was waiting for this driver to go straight at this T intersection, I was coming to my stop and watching that driver carefully to see if they would go straight or if they would be turning. And they didn't slow down, and so I assumed, okay, they'll be going straight, and then I'll be taking my left turn. But as the force of the car that as it turned left pushed my bike out from under me in that unfortunate game of bicycle rider Jenga, I'm on his hood, and I can see him in there, and you've all seen the driver looking at the phone instead of the road, and you know, you see that all over the place, but not usually while you're on their hood. I fell off the hood to the driver's side of the car, which is where he rode over my toe. I am very thankful he didn't ride over my ankle or anything north of there. I did all the things you would do if you got hit by a car. I said all the things that you would say when you got hit by a car. But it included get off the phone, and it included, since you have your phone, call the police. I did my personal injury inventory and found that I was probably going to be okay. So I relaxed a little bit and learned a few things about my driver. He was a USF graduate on his way to graduation. And then he did call the cops, but they didn't answer the phone. Okay. So fearing that actually he was trying to go to graduation instead of deal with what he had just caused, I decided to take the matter in my own hands and call the police. And while I had my phone in my hand, I took a picture of his license plate, so in case he left, I'd have it. And then I realized I had a nice photo of my bicycle on the ground, his car behind my bicycle, or in line with my bicycle, him standing by the driver's side door with my sunglasses and my blinky light on the ground, and him with his hand on his head. And it's really easy to see that there is maybe 2 feet between the inside curb and his car. So he had Formula 1'd that turn while he wasn't looking at his phone and took me out in my lane while I was waiting. Calling the police is a good thing, but there's risks. So calling police is good. It relinquishes the control of the situation from you to the police. So he wanted to go to graduation, and I said, I've called the police. You shouldn't really leave the scene of an accident. And then Mom showed up. And Mama Bear took control of the situation and came over to me and asked me my name, which I thought was odd. But I said, I'm Michael, and the police are on their way. And she said, oh. I didn't have to argue with her because the police were on their way. Even though they weren't present, they controlled the situation, not her. And then Dad showed up. And Papa Bear was going to control the situation. Until Mama Bear said the police had been called. And Papa Bear asked me, since his kid was late for graduation, could he just leave? And I said, I don't know how you're going to explain that to the police after he leaves the scene of an accident. And he said, oh. And so the police came, they did their diligence. It is an inconvenience because the whole process was 40 minutes from when I called the police to when I called my wife. I called her toward the end because I didn't want to introduce her to that scene. And the risks. So the officer did spend some time trying to decide if I had yielded the right of way to a vehicle to my right in an uncontrolled intersection. To which he did not. But, you know, that's a judgment call and could have gone either way. And then I would have gotten a ticket had he decided that. Risks. If you have just blown through a stop sign and you got hit, you might not want to call the police. Well, you do, but really, there's a risk there. If you've just ridden off a sidewalk because you're riding what you think is safely and you're crossing a street from riding off that sidewalk, if you call the police, you may find that you're being cited for failing to yield in an intersection after riding on the sidewalk. What I taught when I used to teach was a bicyclist fares best when he acts and is treated like the driver of a vehicle. That's still true. I say ride in the lane where drivers can see you, and if you look where the driver hit me, it was directly in line with the steering wheel of his car. Had he been looking, he would have seen me. So at the end of the day, the graduate did get to leave the scene early without yet having a final decision on whether he would be cited or not. Nobody asked me if I was inconvenienced about having been crashed into, but that's okay. I'm just a bicyclist. I do understand, thank you, my bike club and Jason, for following up on the incident to learn if the driver had been cited, and he had. I look forward to calling and collecting the police report myself, hoping that it will reveal what the charge or what the cite was. But in the end of the day, I'm happy because I didn't need to negotiate something with his parents. I got an official citation from the city of Sioux Falls for the driver, which is good. It puts justice, if you will, is served there. If I was injured, if my bike was destroyed with that citation, it's a lot easier to get a remedy for that. I have no need to pursue that. So that is my story. Thanks for listening.
Thanks.